Agenda today. Um, I have something for open session. Martin?
I have something, Madam Chair, open.
Do we have walk-ins, Jen?
Two walk-ins. I sent it to council email. One is Tom McDonald and one is Donna Richard. Both are open.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, motion by Ellie to approve the agenda with additions. Second by Anita. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Good morning, everyone. I want to start off the day by addressing the issue at the last council meeting that was regrettable on many levels. I will try not to throw anyone under the bus without getting into specifics. First of all, I take full responsibility for the mistakes I made in addressing the issue. Specifically, a tribal member brought an issue to my attention Monday night in a phone call. My intention in bringing the issue forward to council on Tuesday was to provide accountability to the membership. My mistake was not letting the tribal member first address the issue he brought to my attention. As elected public officials, we live in a fishbowl, and that comes with the territory. We can be and are frequently publicly called out. With live streamed meetings, that fishbowl is magnified. With social media, that magnifying glass can start fires, which is evident with the last couple days' Facebook post. Back to my mistake. Instead of letting the tribal member address council first, I brought up a written statement that was provided by another council member regarding the same issue, which we as council were all seeing for the first time. I was distracted by all the documents being uploaded from the flash drive to our emails, not just the 3 I asked to be uploaded to council, so that threw me off. Additionally, the council member asked to remain anonymous, and I tried to honor that. Later, the council member admitted to the council authoring the document. That was my second mistake. In that process, I lost the trust of some of my colleagues and other tribal members by trying to honor the request of remaining anonymous. My intention in bringing the issue forward was to provide accountability. I was advised when I ran for council to not promise anything I couldn't personally deliver. I decided early on I could provide integrity, accountability, transparency, as well as the courage to bring up things that others haven't. I don't have a personal agenda on this issue. When I had the conversation with a tribal member on Monday, he asked why I hadn't brought up the issue of concern. When I thought about it, there were 2 reasons. One, I've been extremely busy, and with everything on my plate, it fell down on the priority list. Some things are urgent, some are not so urgent. Some things are important, and some things are not so important. This issue was important in my mind, but not urgent. When he brought up the other council accountability issues, it brought things into perspective for me. If we let one thing go, and then another, pretty soon we have the potential to become that council, a corrupt council that many accuse us of, irregardless of our actions. That didn't sit well with me. I pride myself in doing the right thing, even when it may not be the most popular thing, and I believe my record shows that. The other pressure I felt was this being an election year and an especially long campaign season at that, with the primary being held in July instead of October. We are continually questioned about our actions being in campaign mode. Do we stop doing our jobs because it's an election year? I apologize for the way I handled the issue in those two respects. However, I cannot apologize for bringing forward issues of concerns from tribal members. We as a council have entertained many walk-ins from tribal members, and I hope we do not stop doing our jobs because it's an election year. However, it is our duty to police ourselves according to the Code of Conduct, which is also at issue here. Resolution 0648 is the resolution reiterating and updating the Code of Conduct for tribal elected officials, appointed officials, and employees of the Confederated Salish Kootenai Tribes of the Flathead Reservation. This particular resolution was passed in December 2005, and we will revisit that Code of Conduct on next week's agenda as a council as part of the council roles discussion. Moving forward, I have no doubt there will be plenty of opportunities to hold each other accountable as tribal members and as council members. The Code of Conduct issue was one of the items in the tribal members and the tribal council members' complaint. The other was reimbursements that were allegedly a violation of policy. In investigating said reimbursements yesterday, both were within policy of the dire need and the ARPA funds policies they were paid out of. The third item is a moot point as there was no reimbursement requested. Lastly, I want to say the events of the past 2 days have created a great divide. This isn't the first time I've witnessed that as a council member. And if there's anything that I've worked toward since being elected chair in January of 2020, it was creating an environment where council could agree to disagree, respectfully and with civility. We can't possibly agree with everything, with everyone 100% on every issue. That's at the heart of our system, respecting the diversity of the 10. Let's walk the talk of the traditional values and principles of our ancestors who prayed us into existence. And with that, I ask, let's not throw salt on the wounds today. So we have the 2 walk-ins that are related to this particular issue. Donna, if you want to come up to the mic. Can you use the mic? Thank you.
I did write a statement, and I'd like to come forward and hand deliver my statement and then read it. My only intention today is to read what I have to say about the matter, and then I believe other people need to say what they have to say. I have more if I didn't give you enough. I didn't count them. Yeah. Like 3 or 2. Okay.
How you been?
Really well, how are you? I do want to say that this is coming from my heart and soul, and I feel that this is something that needs to be said. So I'm going to start reading what I had to say, and then I'll walk away. My intention herein is to request the immediate resignations of Shelley Fayant and Charmel Gillen, and here are my reasons why. This is a statement of my observations during the last 8 minutes of the Tribal Council meeting held on Tuesday, August 15th. I was not present in person at the meeting in council chambers. I watched the footage over and over again, at least 10 times, actually more than that, prior to coming to the conclusions that I stated in multiple posts on social media. What I observed was harassment, bullying, breach of confidentiality, hostile work environment, intimidation, and destructive gossip / falsified or unsubstantiated alleged claims of misconduct levied against Councilwoman Carol Langford by Council Chair Shelley Fayant. I do not have a copy of the Tribal Council Code of Conduct and Ethics, but what I do have is Ordinance 69C, which I know now is updated, and excerpts from the CSKT Employee Handbook and the SNK Gaming Employee Handbook. These documents contain specific policies that address what constitutes how employees are to comport themselves within their work environments and as they relate to interpersonal relationships with staff and the public. I can safely surmise that Council's Code of Conduct and Ethics would be at least the equivalent, if not higher. What I witnessed from Chairwoman Fayant fell appallingly short of the minimum professional comportment I would expect from Council Chair and elected leader of our membership. There was no acceptable reason for this disgraceful display of unprofessional and intentional public bullying, intimidation, and defamation of character. I just want to be clear. My observations can in no way be interpreted as allegations. Unfortunately, this behavior publicly available to anyone attached to social media and has no geographical barriers. The truth of the matter is that this scandal could have and should have been avoided by simply following the administrative process. To conduct this pseudo hearing of alleged misconduct in a public forum during a live Zoom meeting has exposed our tribe to an extremely unflattering and frankly embarrassing situation. So to briefly describe my observations, Fayant shared an anonymous document with allegations of financial misconduct directed against Councilwoman Langford. She said that the document needed to be addressed and council should decide and take action on said anonymous document. Len Two Teeth astutely questioned the source, and Fayant waffled and hesitated to name the source, and when pushed said, quote, "The document itself isn't material at this point. I'm going to say anonymously." Len's concern was an anonymous document was not legitimate and should not even be an item of discussion. All council members were in possession of said anonymous document and were asked to read it and take action. This was directly following Fayant's description of Resolution 06.48, quote, Code of Conduct, during which she said council had to act, quote, after appropriate hearing. It appears there was no investigation or hearing of the alleged anonymous document. So what was she asking council to decide and take action on? Is this how you start an investigation of alleged misconduct by a council member? By bullying and defaming someone publicly? How can Carol Langford possibly have an unbiased investigation on allegations after being publicly bullied and defamed by the chair? As a tribal member, this behavior by an elected official, the chairwoman no less, reflects poorly on our membership and reputation with our community and beyond. Not only that, but it is also a poor reflection of our leadership and has the potential to expose us to yet another unnecessary and expensive legal settlement. I am probably not the only one concerned about the last $260,000 out-of-court settlement resulting from an acting council's member's political witch hunt. I learned the details of the settlement through online research and an archived article in the Missoulian. Charmel Gillen was found guilty in court, and the tribes elected to pay the settlement. Despite the court's decision, Gillen was allowed to retain her position on council. Fiant is not acting in the best interest of the membership and is suppressing Carol Langford's rights and voice. This just feels wrong. Chairwoman Fiant was out of line in her aggressive bullying and insistence that council act and make a decision based on incomplete, anonymous, and alleged misconduct. Fiant refused to name the source of the anonymous allegations and made an informed decision impossible. Len Two Teeth attempted to question this source, and Shelley overrode his concerns. The video evidence is clear and shows public bullying, maltreatment, defamation of character, and unsubstantiated charges. Sincerely, Donna Richard.
Thank you, Donna. Charmel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Donna. I would never interrupt a tribal member coming in for a walk-in, but I respectfully request some manner of clearing up the misinformation that was just stated and alleged against me. I have never been in court on any charge that you just alleged, and this is something that Councilman Two Teeth also alleged against me as well recently, and I am concerned about the character defamation and the slander that continues to go on against me. So I don't know if this is something that we can go into executive on and request our legal department to assist with, because here's the thing, there's an aspect of confidentiality that is related to a grievance that was filed directly against the tribal council. And that's what's being referenced here. There's confidentiality associated with that. However, for some reason, it was allowed to be disclosed to the media. And when individuals tried to get a copy of that same grievance that was leaked to the media, they were told that it was confidential and unable to be provided. So I'm really concerned about how to handle this, but I am clearly being slandered right now, so I am not sure where to go with this, so I would request an executive session to discuss that. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go out of regular into executive.